My dad has been in the ag industry for many, many years now, and I have always grown up around it. My first real big memories are one of the colleges, or one of Wenatchee Valley College's leased properties. My dad was like the orchard manager there, along with his coworker. So I'd always be out on the farm, just riding around in the four-wheeler, watching these guys like pick the fruit, do research, do samples, that kind of stuff. So that was my first real introduction into the ag industry. Funnily enough, when I was studying, I didn't imagine myself coming back to the ag industry. I went to school for business and I graduated from WSU with my business administration degree. So for the longest time, I didn't really envision myself in the ag industry, but I graduated COVID year, it was 2020, a lot of places weren't hiring, that kind of thing, and my dad knew some folks over in the Wenatchee Valley, and I started working with them as a business analyst, analyzing our fruit production, sales, that kind of thing. And from there, it kind of flowered in, really diving back into the industry in terms like out in the field and getting back out there, serving sort of as a field man type of role and working with our orchard managers, training them up, making sure they're to the level we needed them to be. And that's sort of how I got back into the industry, and I haven't looked back since. I think the first step is really getting out of your comfort zone and going and talking to people. You got to know people to be able to go places and work at different places. So any networking events, like that kind of stuff, that's really where I got my knowledge base of like, oh, there's these people, I know they work in the industry, I have an in, I have someone to talk to if I'm looking for something. A lot of people I work with now, I met them through my first job. So building contacts is so important, building relationships and having people you can talk to, like even if you have a question like, hey, like I ran into this problem, what do you recommend? And having people you can talk to help problem solve and get information from is a huge bonus. Tech has really grown the last 5, 10, 15 years. It's really becoming a predominant force in our industry. And a lot of folks aren't really technologically adept, so they can struggle. They're not as tech savvy as some of us younger folks. So my job really is to make their process really as simple as it is for them. Like I walk them through, okay, these are the steps you take, this is what information we're looking to collect, and this is how you do it. So I'm out there working hands-on with all of our employees, making sure they're doing a good job, and I'm making sure that I'm doing my job to help them as best as I can. So I'm out there in the field. I like to think of it as a field man, but for technology. One of the biggest things is having a drive and finding something to work towards a goal, and the goal setting. Goal setting for me has really helped me out a ton. A lot of people like to set goals, years into the future and say like, hey, like I want to be here by X date. That's great, but I would recommend younger people to be a little more focused in terms of goal setting in a short term. So set short-term goals that are actually attainable. That way, when you get to that time, you don't feel devastated that, oh, I set this goal for 5 years into the future, I'm not there, like what am I doing? I'd recommend people to set a 3-month goal, like, hey, I want to learn this in X amount of time, in 3 months. I want to learn how to prune trees this winter. I want to learn how to drive a tractor. So setting short-term goals for me really helped me with my schooling and really organizing my time properly, because it's very easy to get off track and procrastinate. Going to school for business helps really, it gives me an understanding of the fundamentals of how to run a business. And you see that everywhere you go. You see how much you're spending on labor, how much you're spending on certain jobs, and really keeping an eye on what you're spending as a grower, from a grower perspective. Like, oh, we have budgets to follow. We can't be too greedy here and there, and we have to pick a certain way, prune a certain way to meet certain returns. So it's all interlocked. It's all connected. And having that business background, I think, well, in general, just having a 4-year degree really looks good on a resume when you're applying to places. So to any students out there that are considering, stopping or not wanting to go to school, I highly encourage it, because just having a piece of paper with your name on it can open a lot of doors for you. So anyone who's looking for internships, I highly encourage it, because it's a great experience for you to go out into the field and really get hands-on work. It gives you your first taste into the industry and how things actually are in the real world, because reading it is one thing, but actually experiencing it is a totally different story. So it can be kind of scary, but I highly encourage looking for internships and putting yourself out there.